My name is Hannah, and this is my beauty budget. Do you notice anything different about me? It's not the bangs. I've had those for a while now. I have completely rearranged my little room here, and the new arrangement makes things much easier for me logistically. I actually rearranged with the goal of being able to leave my lights set up all the time and to leave my camera up all the time instead of having to put it onto my vanity and take it off every time I wanted to film. The lights are in slightly different places, everything's slightly different. I don't really know how I'm gonna look, how the background is gonna look, etc. And even if I do keep this setup, it'll probably take some trial and error to get everything right, to get the lights exactly right, to get the angle exactly right. So if everything's a little bit off and not just a little bit different, please bear with me. I'll get there eventually. But in the meantime, we are just going to charge ahead with the regularly scheduled programming. And today's regularly scheduled programming is Hannah's Reckoning. So I have the Purgatory box before me, and in this video I'm going to go through, hold each item one by one, and ask myself, do I truly love this thing enough to keep it and to add it into my permanent collection of belongings? This month, the Purgatory box contains a number of things that were sent to me by brands, either through Octoly or directly from the brand. And in those cases, I will definitely tell you right here on camera that the thing was sent to me in PR. But I also received some things in the mail from some friends, some of you this month. Everyone who sends me anything knows about the Purgatory box. So I just want to make sure that you guys know that everything that was sent to me, including the things from the brands, because when a brand writes to me, I tell them, everybody knows that this is going to happen. So nobody's heart is going to be crushed. Everybody who has sent a thing to me did it with the full knowledge that that thing would go into the Purgatory box and then would have to pass through the gates of Hannah's Reckoning. All right, I think I've prefaced this enough. Most of you already know what's going on and you're like, Hannah, let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. So let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. One of the things I like about this setup is I can sit a little further back and you can see like more of my torso. I like that. I'm a dancer, so I talk with my body, and I like the feeling that you can see me being gestural from here up instead of just from like here up like it was before. This came to me from the brand through Octoly. The brand is Babor, and it's an intensive week of treatments for your skin. So these little ampules are what arrived to me, and there were 7 of them. One arrived broken. They are glass, which I really, really like. This is a plastic-free item because the packaging is cardboard and the little ampules are glass. And I've been keeping my eye out for plastic-free packaging. I think that's the future of our planet if our planet is going to continue to exist. So it's just something I've been taking note of in my mind, and it's something I took note of when this arrived. However, one of the glass ampules was broken when I opened this, and the serum was everywhere inside of here. That was pretty disappointing, so I wanted to let you guys know that in this review. This one is a glow ampule, and it's bi-phase, so there's an oil and a serum in there, and you shake it up and mix them together, then you pop the top off, and then you put it all over your face and chest. There's actually plenty of serum in there for the entire this. I do feel like it's incredibly nourishing for my skin because there's something about a serum mixed with an oil that creates a really lovely film on the skin, but that's also soaking in. I have had success in the past with intensive short-term vitamin C treatments, and this has vitamin C in it. So it's vitamin C, sea buckthorn oil, and Bistora root, which perfects skin tone and improves the look and feel of skin surface and texture, and it also has vitamin E. But the sea buckthorn and the vitamin C were the things that made me request this from Octoly because my skin loves sea buckthorn oil, and vitamin C is something that I already use and that I think is great. So the short story is that I've been using these instead of my vitamin C serum in the mornings. I am somewhat impressed by the product. There are two major cons that I can think of. One is that in spite of the nice glowy finish, there's something a little bit weird about applying an oil mixed with serum to your face, because oil and water don't mix. So you can shake it up and they get all in amongst each other, but then you're putting on your face and it's like the molecules of the oil and water are resisting each other, and it feels like I'm putting something not grainy, but not smooth. It's not cosmetically elegant to shake oil and water together and then apply it as a treatment. It does end up soaking in, and when it sort of dries down and soaks in, it's beautiful. But when I'm doing it, I feel a little bit like, Dr. Babor, why did you make this decision? And then the other problem is the price. I was able to get this for the purpose of trying it out from Octoly because it was free. But I think it's like $50 for this set of 7. And if I see dramatic improvements in my skin by the end of the run of the 6 that I was able to use, maybe I'll report back in my empties and be like, yes, this is amazing. It's worth it to do it once a year. But I just don't think that that is going to be like that. I just don't think that the vitamin C and sea buckthorn oil in this could be so much more potent and so much more special than the ones that I'm using already, that it would be worth it to spend $50 for a week's worth of product, basically. Tara sent this to me along with a bunch of other things. It's the ColourPop No Filter Concealer in the very, very lightest shade. And it is so light, you guys. It's so light. I'm gonna swatch it, and I'm gonna swatch it next to some other concealers, but then I'm gonna let them dry. It's in the shade Fair 02, the ColourPop concealer. And there's my Shape Tape in the fairest shade, Fair, next to it. And I can already see that the ColourPop one is just so much whiter, which is something that I've always wanted to have, because even Shape Tape, it's slightly brightening on me, the one that I have, but it's not very, very highlighting. I've never really had something that I could truly use to contour my face by brightening certain areas quite a lot. So I do really like having this. Just as a concealer, I found it really went into my pores, and you could see them. It was like my pores became a bunch of little bright white dots. That might be because I tend to sheer concealer out quite a bit. So when I blended it out and I really sheared it out, it became sheer on my skin around my pores, and then each pore was like filled with it, and that part was brighter. And that's probably partly the formula and partly the fact that it is actually whiter than my skin tone, so there was contrast there between what was in the pores and what was sheared out on the surface of the skin. So I don't think I'm going to be reaching for this as like an everyday concealer. It's not going to replace my Shape Tape, but I'm going to keep it. Here's another thing that Tara sent. It's the Stila Heaven's Hue highlighter in the shade Kitten. And she did ask me about this when I didn't realize she was putting together a care package. I thought she was sending me like 2 mini lippies that she asked if I wanted to try. And I was like, yeah, it was actually back during my Note by Year, I think, when I was lusting for a nude lipstick and couldn't buy one. And she was like, oh, I have these 2 minis of nude lippies. And I was like, yeah, sure, I would love to try those. And I thought she was just gonna slip them into an envelope and mail them to me. But she actually was secretly gathering little treats here and there that she knew that I would love. What I'm trying to say is that Tara did email and say, would you like me to put this? She had an extra, I think, or she had one that she'd been using and then she got a new one. I said yes because many of you have recommended this to me. This is something that has consistently shown up in my comment section. And I've been curious about it, and I've never really seen it in store or swatched it in store. It's a putty. It is very, very beautiful, and it's got kind of that sheer, very glossy, blended, delicious finish. It's just gorgeous. All of you have been right. Tara, you were right. Everybody was right. The thing about this is it is blush on me, and it's even hard to see in the swatch right there how ruddy of a shift it has on my cheeks. I was so excited when I first opened this and I saw how incredibly pretty it is. I put it all over my cheeks, I put it all over my eyes, and it looked amazing. It's amazing as like a cheek to eye draped look. And then I went to highlight my nose, my cupid's bow, and my chin like I always do. And then it looked like I had put blush on those 3 places. So I really have to treat it like a super glossy highlighting blush, and it gives me that kind of flushed, shimmery complexion that it's actually quite editorial in its way, and it also has kind of a natural, youthful look to it. This is a gorgeous product. I'm really excited to have it and own it, and I'm keeping it. Oh my gosh, let's talk about some things I'm not keeping. So in this same package, these were the actual 2 lippies, the culprits, the ones that Tara initially reached out to ask me if I would like to adopt. And one is the Stila Stay All Day liquid lipstick in Perla. It's more of a cool grayish, almost with a little bit of purple in it. It's actually really, really beautiful and kind of unique to me color. And then the other one is the Tarte Tartist lip paint in the shade Birthday Suit. And that is actually what I have on my lips today. I have had trouble deciding about this one, and I put it on one more time right here before I started filming to make my final decision. These are lovely, and they are a category of color that I don't have a huge number of, but I have so many lipsticks. I'm like a lipstick magnet. Lip products are just flying to me through the night and attaching themselves to my body while I sleep. And when I wake up, they all clatter to the floor, and I'm like, where did all these lipsticks come from? I am having to start being very harsh about which lip products I allow permanently into my life. And I'm having to do that both as a person who accepts free product from various sources and as a person who buys things. On all fronts, I'm kind of cracking down on lipsticks. So here's my thinking. The one that I have on my lips right now is very, very close in tone and in effect to the Infinite Lip Cloud from M Cosmetics in Rose Nude. This is one of my all-time favorite lip products. I mean, it's probably top 3. It's one of my go-tos, it's one of my best. And I would like to use this up. And I would like to use it anytime I want this kind of color. I like this formula better. I like this formula better than any formula, anything. It's one of my all-time favorite lip formulas. So I'm saying no to everything that remotely resembles this color. I'm considering this to be my one and only Rose Nude, and any other Rose Nude that tries to join the party will be politely asked to leave. I'm in a monogamous relationship with M Cosmetics Infinite Lip Cloud in Rose Nude. Isn't this convenient how I can just reach for my things right here and then talk to you right here? It's really working out for me. And then this, I don't have a color dupe for in my collection, but it's a liquid lipstick and it dries down and it gets that kind of, and it's not a bad formula. It's actually a really good formula, but it has the sort of pungent smell, painty smell of a really intense liquid lipstick where you know that there's alcohol in it that's evaporating to make it dry down. And it just feels like kind of an intense product, kind of an intense thing to do to my lip. And the slightly unique color doesn't motivate me enough to want to use this formula. I've had it in the Purgatory box for a while, and I think I've only put it on once, or I think I wore it actually one day, and I haven't reached for it again. This same situation. This is the NARS Power Matte Lip Pigment in American Woman. And I actually one time had, this is a really nice deluxe size sample, but I once had a little like foil packet sample of this product in this color. And I really did like the color, but it's a Rose Nude. It's so similar to the Infinite Lip Cloud in Rose Nude. It looks just like this. And I also had a Power Matte Lip Pigment deluxe size sample in a really pretty red color that I liked a lot. And I eventually ended up decluttering it because I wore it. It really dried my lips out and kind of wore away at the center of my lips. I didn't like how it wore. So for both of those reasons, this is going to someone else. And I also like the fact that it's unopened. I didn't need to swatch it because I knew the color. And so it's brand new, and that's a really lovely thing to be able to pass along to someone. All right, let's keep busting through these lip products, and you guys can be so impressed by how many lipsticks I'm not keeping. until you find out later how many lipsticks I am keeping. But for now, here's one more. This is a little Tom Ford Deluxe sample size. This is such a lovely thing because the Tom Ford lipsticks are gorgeous. The formula is, in my opinion, all it's cracked up to be. I don't know if it's $55 worth gorgeous, but it's really, it is what they say it is. It's one of the most beautiful lipstick formulas ever devised. This one is in a bright red color, or you know what it is? It's like a really rich blue red. It's scarlet red. It's like a vampy blue red. And what a lovely thing to be able to give to someone. Like I can slip this in a package if I'm sending some things to some people next week, and I'll just slip this into one of those packages. And I'm so excited to be able to do that because it's unswatched, it's untouched. Red lipstick is something I need no more of. I have so many shades of red. I have so many reds that I love with my whole heart. I have so many reds that I would rather wear than just another blue red, even though it's in such a beautiful formula. I'll take so much more pleasure in giving this away than I would take in keeping it. That might be it for the lippies I'm not keeping. Oh no, there are some. Well, actually, let's move on to, we're on a roll with the lipsticks right now. Where's that other one? Oh, it's in my bag because I wore it today. I'll be right back. Can you scoot over just a little bit? When I went out to get the lipstick, Sadie came and sat on my stool. She's right here. But she won't move. She's like sitting in the middle of my stool like she's ready to film her YouTube video. Sadie, why don't you just scoot over a little bit? So Anna Sui sent me this bundle of 3 lipsticks through Octoly. And I am so excited to be able to review these because I have had such intense curiosity about Anna Sui products. I think many of us have, and I think for all of us, it's for the same reason, which is that they are so beautifully designed and packaged, and there's just not a lot of information out there about whether or not it's good makeup. So when I saw that I had the chance to try these out, I jumped at it. These are lipsticks. Look at the bullet. And this is the one that I was wearing today. This is my favorite one, maybe the only one I'm keeping. This one I kept in its packaging to remind myself not to use it so that I could show you the bullet without it having been touched. Because here's how they look when they arrive. So beautiful. So beautiful. I hope that was in focus, but it's this gorgeous sculpted perfect rose. And it kind of crushed my heart to use the lipstick on these two because the rose is all squashed and pretty much gone on both of these. I've been saying I want a true nude lip, like a really, really pale twiggy nude lip, a porn star nude lip. I've been talking about that. And every time I get a product that works, I'm like, no, I want it to be more nude. I want it to be paler. I want it to be lighter. Well, be careful what you wish for, because that was pretty much the reason that I requested this bundle, because I was like, maybe that's the one. And it looks terrifying on me. I mean, it really does erase my lips, but it's a little bit shiny. And if it were more matte, I think I might be more inclined to keep it and like use it as a mixer or something. This one I'm definitely keeping. This is like a rich brownish burgundy, and I love that brown undertone. I love a deep lipstick like this that doesn't really lean berry, but instead really leans quite brown. It's like a burgundy brown, and I really, really love that. I do have a color kind of like this. It's Griselda, the Fenty lipstick. I have this little deluxe size sample of Griselda. Griselda is like more pigmented, more matte, and darker. For a while I thought about getting rid of one or the other because they're so similar, but I really, really do like this Anna Sui lipstick on its own merits. It isn't as intense and pigmented as the Fenty, but it is very pigmented. And it isn't shiny like the nude one. It has a bit of a satin sheen, but it kind of has a matte feeling. It kind of has that stiff, really, really permanent feeling on the lips. Not permanent, you know what I mean, but it feels like it's not gonna budge. And it wears really beautifully throughout the day. I am impressed by this formula. They are moisturizing and lovely. The formula is gorgeous. For all of you out there who have been eyeing these lipsticks because the packaging is so pretty, and you've been saying to yourself, what if it's just garbage trash? Like, what if it's just wax in a tube? You can rest easy. It's a really, really nice high-end lipstick formula to complement the gorgeous packaging. So I'm keeping this one. And then I feel the same way about the red as I do about all the other reds that I'm trying to decide about. I have all the reds I'll ever need, and I would love to be able to give this as a gift intact, because can you imagine, like, can you even imagine a better gift lipstick than this? Oh, let's look at the concealers. So you can see that very light colored one right there. That's the ColourPop, and below it is Shape Tape, which looks to have oxidized kind of horribly as it's dried. I didn't realize that Shape Tape got quite that dark when it dried. I'm gonna have to kind of keep an eye on that one. And you can see next to it, that's the Anna Sui lipstick on top, and underneath it is Griselda, which is the Fenty Beauty Mademoiselle. I was able to use one of my Octoly credits on something that I need. I need to replace my cleansing oil because I'm about to be out of the one I use, which is the simple cleansing oil. I pretty much have one use left of it. And when I realized I was running low, I thought maybe I can find a cleansing oil on Octoly and try that out. And then I'll have more time before I need to actually repurchase one. So this is a way in which receiving PR softens my budget a little bit. Because if I weren't on YouTube and if I weren't receiving PR, I would have had to spend the $8 to replace my cleansing oil this month. There's been a lot of discussion lately about the effect of PR on my budget, blah, blah, blah. And this is an interesting case because this is a very expensive cleansing oil. This is the Shu Uemura Skin Purifier. It's really lovely. It smells very cozy. It works perfectly. It doesn't irritate my eyes. And it's like the OG cleansing oil. It was a cleansing oil before cleansing oil was a thing. And so I was really tempted by it when I saw it in my Octoly store, in addition to the fact that I needed a cleansing oil. So I'm kind of honored to be able to try the Shu Uemura one and to be able to say that I've been using it. I've used it several times now, and I actually really love it. I feel very grateful to be able to use it for a little while because it's a luxury product. And the one I'm buying for myself isn't a luxury product. But in terms of how it's affecting my budget, it's not affecting my budget to the tune of the amount that this product costs, if that makes sense. It's just something I was thinking about today and I wanted to throw in here. Great product, definitely keeping it. And then they included in the PR package this eyelash curler, and I have never owned an eyelash curler. This is the Shu Uemura one, the legendary Shu Uemura eyelash curler. And today I curled my eyelashes for the first time. My lashes don't stick into my eyes or fall down. They kind of gently swoop up a little bit because they have somewhat textured hair, I think. So I've never felt the need for an eyelash curler. I'm gonna keep trying it out. Maybe I'll grow to really love it. If I don't, I'll probably give it away. I guess what I'm trying to say is this is staying in the box. I just had to change my camera battery, and I'm worried that everything has changed. I had to take the camera off to change the battery out. I hope everything's kind of in the same. Oh, I feel like these lights aren't the same. I feel like, no, things aren't the same. I'm sorry if the color or the lighting or the framing has changed. I forgot to put a fresh battery in when I started filming this video. Oh, the face oils. I was gonna talk about these oils right at the beginning of the video and I forgot, and I went blabbering on about lip products for the better part of my young life. These are two gorgeous face oils, both of which are from small, independent, woman-owned companies, really cool women that I was able to meet at the Indie Beauty Expo. So let me talk about this one first. This is the Better Oil by Chemist Confessions. And the women who own Chemist Confessions are so cool. I met them, we started talking, and I was just like, can we be friends in real life? I was kind of like, can we hang out? Like, both of them are cosmetic chemists, and they worked for the big guys. They worked for big skincare companies, and they started an Instagram page called Chemist Confessions. And I bet some of you are already following it because it's huge. It has, I think, like lots of subscribers. At that time, I think it was like 60K, and I'm sure they've grown since then. So what they do on their Instagram page is they talk about the chemistry of skincare, and they talk about ingredients, and they're very practical and knowledgeable and scientific. So they'll talk about specific ingredients like silicones. Silicones have a bad rap on YouTube, for example, and they'll be like, well, what do silicones really do? What are the different kinds of silicones? How can some be good and some be bad? And what are the good ones and what are the bad ones? And how can you use them to your advantage, and why you don't need to be afraid of them, or why you maybe want to be careful of them. I'm not saying this is what they said about silicones. I'm just saying these are the kinds of things that they talk about with regards to specific ingredients. So they're doing this amazing work of kind of demystifying and clarifying questions about skincare. And the brand is very much in that same vein. It's very much about demystifying skincare, making it accessible, making it easy, making it better, the better oil. And I am so impressed. So this oil is an emollient blend of sea buckthorn seed, my favorite, black currant, and rosehip oil to provide a nourishing boost to your routine. It says a little goes a long way. There are other things in it too. There's some omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, squalane, vitamin E. It's an oil blend, very, very carefully developed by these two brilliant women. And so here's what's magical about it. It is a hearty oil that is fast absorbing. So this is what I've been reaching for to go under makeup. I'll put just a couple of drops of this and I feel like my skin's like, This is a very cosmetically elegant oil and also very well developed. And I also think that it's not very expensive for what it is. So it's 1 fluid ounce, and a little does go a very, very long way. I want to say it's in the 38, I don't know. I'm going to put it on the screen, but I remember it was well under $50. And I remember after I tried the oil being really impressed by the price at which they are offering it, because at the rate that I'm going through this, even though I'm really quite down to here, I've been using it a lot, and I'm really just, I mean, I haven't even used 10% of it yet, and I've been using it a lot. And then this one from Air is a marula oil. It's just a really, really high quality and ethically sourced marula oil. I mean, I say it's just that, but really that's no small feat. It's a really high quality, ethically sourced marula oil. And Air is a brand I've talked about before. I talked about their eye cream, I think in my last Hannah's Reckoning. It's a mother-daughter duo, really, really charming, sweet, knowledgeable people. And I also was able to meet them at the Indie Beauty Expo. They're really lovely. So I'm very grateful that they gave me this because I love marula oil. My skin loves marula oil. One of the things I really like about it is that it fights bacteria. So it's a really nourishing and thicker oil. And it's good for people who suffer from persistent acne because it kind of helps to kill any potential surface bacteria that might be planning to cause acne. So I feel really good about putting this on my skin. And as you can see, I've used quite a bit of this too. These two have been like by my side. I've just been like layering. I'll usually use this one in the evening and this one in the morning. Is kind of what I've been doing because this is a thicker oil. Kirsten, I believe, the owner of this company, the mother and the mother-daughter duo, was telling me that she basically knows the people who harvest the oil. When she says fair trade wild harvested, what she means is that she has her eyes on the supply chain from the very beginning. Like she knows exactly who is doing the labor, and she's making sure that those people are well compensated and taken care of, and that everything is good quality. So I am very impressed by that, especially for a small independent brand, for her to be so deeply involved in every level of the harvesting and production of this oil is really cool. So you can get a really good marula oil from The Ordinary for $10. You can get a really good marula oil from Drunk Elephant for $70, I think, dollars. And this one falls kind of in the middle. I believe it's around the $40 mark. So it is, I'm going to go ahead and say it's a better quality than the one from The Ordinary because I've had a bottle of that. I've also had the bottle of the Drunk Elephant one back in the day. This feels much more like the Drunk Elephant one, as good, if not better. The smell, like you can just tell, it's just so pure and strong and clean and the real thing, right? It just feels like nourishing, pure sap from Mother Nature going onto my face and like healing me. I mean, that's really what it feels like. As opposed to just like a really good potent oil that's protective, which is kind of how I used to feel with the one from The Ordinary. This definitely feels more exquisite than that one. I feel like it has a little bit more heft maybe than the one from Drunk Elephant. This is my favorite of the three. Here's another thing that I was sent through Octoly from the brand. I feel a little bit doltish for sharing with you that I requested this. It's the Brazilian Crush Body Fragrance Mist. But you guys know I really love the smell of the Boom Boom Cream, and I don't really want the Boom Boom Cream itself because I don't really love lotion. I've been getting over it a little bit. I've been using lotion a little bit here and there. But when I saw this in my Octoly Free store, I was like, I could have the smell without having to apply the lotion. And so I requested it and they sent it along. And you know what I've been really loving this for? Softening my masculine perfumes. So I really love to wear those super strong, woody, spicy, smoky scents. I love Tom Ford Oud Wood. I've had a couple sample sizes of Tobacco Vanille, the Tom Ford scent, which has that like tobacco smoke smell. And I have a couple other ones that are just really masculine in a beautiful way. I mean, in a spicy way, in a way that works well for me. But I sometimes feel like it's a lot, and it's been working really well for me to apply a perfume like that really to my pressure point. So that's kind of like the main thing that's closest to my skin, that's warming up on me, that I'm exuding over the course of the night. And then to take this very sweet, very gourmand scent and spray it like in my hair, sort of to float around the outskirts of that deeper, darker scent. On my birthday, when I went out, I wore Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille on my skin, and then I wore this on top of it, and all night people were like, oh my gosh, what are you wearing? You smell so good. And I was like, it's a secret concoction, but not so secret anymore because I just told you about it on the internet. Tara sent these two ColourPop Super Shock shadows. One is Bouncy and one is Almost There, and I just don't know how she knew. So Almost There is from the Disney collection. I'm gonna swatch them both real quick. Bouncy is a ColourPop Super Shock, the one that has like been in and out of my cart. Like of all the Super Shock shadows, it's the one that I've been like, I really wish I had that one. It's kind of a smoky, mauve-y gray with glitters. And then Almost There is the only thing that tempted me from the entire Disney designer princess collection. Like when that collection came out, I was like, And then I saw this Super Shock shadow. It's this one. It's like a glittery brown. And here's Bouncy. It's more of like a glittery gray. So when I saw that in the Disney designer collection release initially, I was like, ooh, if I wasn't on a no-buy year, I would just buy that one Super Shock shadow. So even though I have eyeshadows in my collection that are in these colors, I really want to keep these guys. Actually, Almost There, the Disney designer one, is what I have on my eyes today. It's just a blush and then this all over. And it's really quite sparkly. I've gotten a lot of use out of both of these already, and I love them both. And they have taught me something, which is that all my other Super Shock shadows are dried out because these are fresh. And when I opened them, I was like, they're so wet. I was like, did they change the formula or something? And then I realized that all these years people have been saying, well, the problem with the Super Shocks is that they dry out before you can use them up. And I've always been like, no, they don't. You just have to tighten the lids really tight. Y'all aren't trying hard enough. Like, they're fine. You just have to tighten the lids really tight. Now that I have two fresh ones, because these are the first two new Super Shock shadows that I've had since well before the beginning of my no-buy year, now that I have them, I realize that all the ones I have are dried out. I also don't have a lot of room in the little drawers in which I keep single eyeshadows that come in their own separate packaging. So I am going to keep these two, but I'm going to replace, I think, all of my Super Shocks with them. So I only have three. I think I decluttered some at some point recently. Telepathy, which was my favorite one, is completely dried out and crumbled. I mean, it's something you really can't use. I've actually tried recently to use it because I love this color, but it has definitely kicked the bucket. And then Paisley and Blaze are just very dry. So I think all of these are going officially now in this video. I think these are the ones that I'm actually gonna say goodbye to. And these are my new Super Shock shadows, these two. All right, and the last thing that I have here, the last thing that I'm ready to reckon with today is actually a bundle of things. And this is the last thing, and it's also the last thing that came to me from the brand through Octoly. It's part of a limited edition collection, which is actually really weird because I'm not totally sure you can get this anymore. I mean, maybe you can buy it if you click through Octoly, because they will give me a link. That's the link I'll put down below. And I think ostensibly if you click through that link, you should be able to buy the things that they send to content creators. But looking online, it looks like this was a limited edition collection and it's kind of hard to find. So I don't really know what's going on with this, but I will show you what they sent me. I find it very, very interesting just on a purely artistic level. So it is the Proenza Scholler collection. Proenza Scholler is a design duo, like a fashion design duo, and they collaborated with Lancome. So they sent me part of that release. I decided to request this from Octoly because the colors were so spot on for me. Actually, when I first joined Octoly, this same bundle was in the free store, but it was all different colors. There was a warm toned eyeshadow palette, there was some red lipsticks, red and pink lip products, and like a black eyeliner. And it was just all stuff that I was like, I didn't want and I didn't need and that didn't really suit my coloring. And I was like, ooh, it'd be so amazing to try out those Lancome products and to see that limited edition packaging, but I was totally turned off by all of the colors, so I didn't request the bundle. So when I saw this bundle pop up in my free store, it was the same thing, but it was all of what are, to me, the best colors. So I'll go through it quickly and show it to you. I'm not gonna keep all of these products, but I have to admit that I'm gonna keep most of them because the quality of these products has impressed me a lot, and I've been using all of them way, way more than I anticipated that I would. So I'll start with the eyeshadow palette. It's in this cool limited edition packaging, and I think it was called Cold Chroma. So they released two chroma eyeshadow palettes. There was warm chroma and there was cold chroma. These are the colors. And the thing that's really cool about this, I mean, first of all, it's cool that it's cool toned, and I didn't have any navy blue eyeshadow, and there are two in here. There's also this silvery gray, and there are these kind of burgundies. I have just been making look after look after look with those colors and loving it so much, and I genuinely didn't have anything in my collection with which I could make quite those looks, because all of the blues that I had were like either turquoises or more purple. I didn't have a true navy, and there's something about a navy smoky eye that I've recently learned is very me, and I've learned that from this palette. So I'm excited to have this. But the cool thing about this, I'm not gonna swatch them all, but I'll swatch a couple because half of them are cream products. And so this blue right here is one of the cream products. The gray is one of the creams, and it's a cream that has a bunch of glitter in it. These are the two that I'll swatch. So there's the navy and there's the gray. A cream shadow is something that it's very difficult for me to get to work on my eyes without creasing. And these stay and they last. And that very fine shimmer that's in the gray one, and there's in the light pink one as well, it'll just get glimmerier and glimmerier throughout the day, because as my eyelids sort of sweat and open and close and it wears, it becomes kind of more sophisticated and more lovely. So I've loved the cream shadows. I was very skeptical, and they've worked out really well for me, and I have been going to town like layering and sticking and using the cream shadows to stick down the powder shadows and to create dimension, and I just have really, really, really fallen for this weird little palette. And then the shadows that aren't cream are excellent. Pigmentation, blendability, easy to use, and very high impact and beautiful. So I've grown to cherish this. What can I say? It's not the thing I was the most excited about in the bundle, let's put it that way, but I'm really, really excited about it now. So definitely hanging on to this one. These are 3 eye koals that are all just amazing. So they look like this. It's super weird. They're just this pointed crayon-like thing. So the more I use them, the more they're gonna wear down. And I don't know how to sharpen them or anything. It's like the definition of sort of like a useless luxury design, but they're super sleek and amazing. All 3 of these are like my colors for eyeliner. Like this is just the dream of my life. And the formula, in spite of the weird shape and the weird packaging, is extraordinary. I'm also not someone who has over purchased eyeliners. I don't have that many. So I'm gonna keep all 3 of these eye koals. I just love them to bits. All right, the lip products. So there are 2 styles of lip product that they sent me. One is this, I'm not sure what they're calling it, Lip Kajal Duo. So it has a lipstick on one side that's shaped the same as those eye koals. The shapes are just amazing. Like they're so sculptural, they're so artistic, and I just really get a lot of pleasure out of having and using these things. So they're shaped like that. That whole little pointy thing is lipstick, and the quality is very good. They smell though, all 4 of the lip products have this smell that like, I was a little bit put off by it at first and I couldn't tell what it was. And when I couldn't tell what it was, I was like, it smells sort of like a clean diaper on like a very clean baby. Or it smells kind of like the baby's butt, like the butt of a very clean baby. There's something like clean and powdery, but like baby's butt-ish about the smell. At least that was what I thought before. And then over time, I realized that it's violet. The smell is like violet powder. That's the smell of this makeup. And that must be like the Lancome makeup smell. I just don't know because this is the first time I've ever tried makeup from Lancome, with the exception of my color corrector that I've been using for a long time, but it doesn't smell like a clean baby's diaper. It just smells like, it doesn't smell like anything. The products are so well performing that I've been able to get used to the smell. And so these each have the lipstick on the one end and on the other end a gloss that's very, very lovely and a little bit plumping and sheer, but really beautiful. And if you watch me, you can probably tell these 2 colors are both me to a T. So this rich brown, I'm just like, I've worn this so many times since I first got it, which was like less than a month ago. So many times. And then I wore this really, really brilliant orange recently in a video, and it looked so good both in person and on camera. And I don't have any true orange lipsticks. I have some red oranges, but I don't have any like tangerine orange lipstick, and that's what this is. So these are both keepers. And then these 2 lippies are really beautiful. They're a more regular, more traditional bullet, but you push the button on the end and they pop out, which is really cool. And one of them is this deep, rich berry color, and one of them is like a pale nude. And they're both a little bit sheer. The sheer, rich berry is one that I think that I can rehome. This, I'll swatch it because you can't really see in the bullet, but it's just a shiny, sheer berry lip. And I just don't want a shiny, sheer berry lip. I do have some lipsticks that are pretty much exactly this color. So there's NARS Endangered Red, the matte lip crayon right next to it. They're the same color, but I so much prefer the formula of the matte lip crayon. So I'm gonna find a home for this beautiful baby. And then this one, the nude one, I think I'm going to keep this in the purgatory box because I'm just not sure. And that is it, finally. That is everything that was in the purgatory box that I feel prepared to decide about today. I have a nice little pile of things there that I'm excited about shipping off to various people around the globe who I know will love them. And then I have a bigger pile of other things that I'm going to put away permanently in my collection of things. I think that I do love all of them really a lot. I mean, this was a month during which I was very, very lucky in terms of what I was given generously by brands and by people. I've talked about this before, but it's hard to say no to things that I really, really love. But I know that the number of things that I really, really love is actually going to end up being more than the number of things I actually want to keep. So at some point I might have to reckon again with some of these things that I decided to keep. I'll probably do that in declutters. My declutter series is continuing and more of those will be coming soon. But for now, that is it. Thank you so much for watching this long reckoning. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you are remembering to take extra good care of yourself right now so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.